Hello, today I'm starting a new series on Mars through the houses. Now, Mars obviously it's a very, very strong planet. It's so I'm going to give you the indications for it, and then we go on to do Mars through the houses. So obviously, Mars rules Tuesdays. Direction is south. It's friendly with Sun, Jupiter, and Moon. And also works quite well with K2 as well, and it rules Aries and co-rules Scorpio with K2. So they're both quite sharp planets, and it's kind of neutral with Saturn, whereas Saturn is unfriendly enemy to it. But it just kind of needs the energy of Saturn in order to be stable. So it's also, for that very reason, it's exalted in Capricorn at 28 degrees. It's neutral also with Venus, and enmical with Mercury. Mercury and Mars just do not get on at all. So this is how it goes. And also with Rahu as well, it just kind of, this is a planet of impulsiveness. With Rahu, it can be a little bit too impulsive. So that's how it goes. It's actually debilitated in Cancer, even though it's a friendly sign. It's very odd because Moon and Mars are kind of friendly towards each other. In some texts it says that they're neutral towards each other, but they actually, both of them are debilitated in each other's house. So Moon is debilitated in Scorpio and Mars debilitated in Cancer. It rules red color, red coral, and it's basically rules anything to do with energy. So let's look at some of the indications of Mars. Mars rules siblings, and it's a karaka for siblings. Not elder siblings, but younger siblings. And it's obviously a masculine planet, and also rules land and property too. In terms of the body, it rules things like blood, muscles, bone marrow, and fevers. So here we go. The energy, it's all about energy, this planet. Energy, courage, sports, action and motivation, drive, determination, strive, domination, courage, bravery, passion, desire, sexual energy, sports, disputes, militant, impulsiveness, fiery, blood, heat, triggers. So blood runs to your head sometimes, like you see red or something. These are all Mars. Anything that triggers you: aggression, harshness, arguments, discord, fights, competitiveness, attraction. I don't know, some of them I might actually be repeating, hopefully not. Anger, accidents, logic, sexiness, land, property, activity, heat, fires, volcanoes, fast, speed, anything sharp, like razors, knives, pokers, even things like fiery things like barbecue are ruled by this planet. Metals too, and ambitions, physical strength, temper, sex, force. It's attraction for men and women. So whether if you are like female or male, gay or straight, it's still attraction. Explosions, fireworks, force, crisis, emergencies. It's the fixer, it's the go-getter, the warrior within us, and it's also the protector. And so a lot of things are ruled by Mars. Obviously Mars rules, because it rules obviously Aries and Scorpio are places that its own sign, so it's comfortable there. It's debilitated, obviously, as we said, in Cancer. It's friendly with Moon, but debilitated in his Sun, which is very strange, but it's very, very good. Works really well in Leo. It works really well also in signs to do with Jupiter. Jupiter rules Sagittarius and Pisces. Excellent houses, signs for it, because it's friendly with it. Having said that, if Jupiter is actually aspecting or in conjunction with Mars, it will be better than being in its signs, just because it kind of really grounds Mars, makes the energy much more put into better use, if you like. And there are certain jobs that you could actually never do without Mars. Mars is just that energy that gets things, motivation to get going. So when somebody has got like debilitated Mars, they could be passive aggressive, so they hold on to the emotions, because fourth house is emotions, and when it comes out as an explosion. So this is how it works. And Mars works differently in different signs as well. So Mars in, as Gemini says, when you have Mars in Aries, you just go for it. You're the warrior. You just go in, and if somebody is annoying to you, just punch them, literally. But Mars that is with in Scorpio will be backstabbing you. So this is how the energy is different. They're less likely to tell you that you're annoying them. They're more likely to do it in a secret way. So according to Sage Gemini, it's just so interesting. And Mars, obviously, with Saturn is grounded, and they both kind of together help the infrastructure of the world, if you like, because they without the Sun, without Saturn and Mars putting the energy together, you just can't have roads, you can't have buildings, bridges, all that kind of thing. This is an earthy planet, like in Capricorn particularly. These sort of people can be excellent architects, excellent builders, infrastructure, that kind of thing. It just puts form into everything. And it also obviously rules all the emergency services too, like all the military, police, fire brigades, ambulance, emergency services, all that kind of thing, and also security, secret service as well. Make great engineers, to do with civil engineers if it's with Saturn, computer engineers if it's with Mercury and Mercury signs, or even actually Rahu does that too. They make great lawyers, particularly if sixth houses. You will not be able to fight these people. They are just so strong. It rules criminals, robbers and gangsters if it's in poor condition as well. So this is where you can see where Rahu and has got something to do with it. Things can just go slightly wrong, in 8th house, things like that, 12th house stuff. So this is, and also we said that it rules any form of surgery and any kind of business that rules any sharp tools as well. So metal work, it also rules metals generally anyway, and mining, things like that, together with Saturn. So it's very important planet in terms of things happening. And there's an impulsiveness about any house that Mars sits in with us, and any house that it aspects as well. And it has got special aspects, so it aspects 4th house from it, 7th house from it, and 8th house from it. So there we go. This is how Mars works. So now I'm going to do everything to do with the signs, the houses that it's in. Just wanted to also say to you that it's obviously anything competitive. It rules all sports, particularly competitive sports. So this is where it's if you have it and you're quite sporty, depending on your Venus, you recover from it, because Venus is rejuvenation from sport or anything else. Mars has got directional strength in the 10th house, the same as the Sun. So this is an Upachaya house. Mars actually does pretty well in all Upachaya houses, particularly 3rd, 6th and 10th. 10th is where it gets directional strength, so it's logical, works really well. It's focused on getting the job done, putting the right energy in. In the 6th and the sixth house, which is another house that does really well. So this will be my second position that I like to see Mars. So this will be where Mars is able to deal with any form of enemies, discord, obstacles. It can fix things. It can. It's just logical, in order to get you up in the morning, get you sorted, get you to work, service, and do things for other people. Amazing. And mostly, if this is like you got really strong Mars in the sixth house, you could become fantastic surgeon, fantastic doctor, fantastic emergency service, police chief, lawyer, things like that. Will be amazing. And also, obviously, third house too. Although third house, all of those, 10th house is Upachaya, sixth house is Upachaya. Third house can give you some problems to begin with, because also Mars is the Karaka or significator of the third house. So whenever the Karaka is in the house, it's going to give you some problems. But with time, you just know exactly what to do. But it can give that impulsive kind of speech. It can give you you could sort of get yourself into a little bit of deep waters with your siblings, friends, and at work with your colleagues and things. But it does get better with time. You kind of figure out the reason why you got these issues with your siblings, and also because of that, it's because it's land or something like that. That could be this discord. So if there is money left property left for you and your siblings, there could be this kind of issues there. So these kind of things is just nice to know. But definitely 10th and 6th house are really good for Mars. Thank you. Mars in the 12th house. So 12th house is a Dushtana house, and as such, it needs a malefic in order to fight it. This is obviously a house that's Mars can do well in, because it's just the nature of it. I think Mars, generally speaking, though, does better in houses that are kind of upachaya, so they grow better with time, because it's just energy that's put in there. So this will be obviously, if we look at this house and the indications of it, it is all about isolation, losses, expenses, completions. It's how you sleep. Charities, prisons, hospitals, laboratories, affairs, secret enemies, secret dealings, basically, faraway lands, exports and imports, spiritualities, ashrams, meditation, endings, every ending really. And obviously it's the last house, so you end things in order to restart. So you kind of born age 1 to 12. When it ends, you start your teens, that kind of thing. So you start a new phase. It's unknown stuff. It's kind of things that are international, and could be to do with aliens as well, cosmos, unknown stuff, and trade with foreign places. This is also your hidden talents, your imaginations, your other dimensional things, dreams, connections with the above, all those kind of things are all about 12th house. Now, when you have a malefic in the 12th house, it can actually impact the way you sleep. It's also your bed pleasures as well. So somebody, this is like energy, so they put a lot of energy, these people, into their sexual and their bed pleasures, if you like. They're quite passionate people. They naturally have some secret things. When you've got planets in the 8th and 12th house, there are things about you, and even 4th house, that there are you keep away from people, generally speaking. So there's they're not really necessarily like everything in their life to be exposed. And obviously all the other houses are quite tangible. This is non-tangible things as well. So this could be when people have, dreams can be seen through this sign and things like that. So just going back, when somebody has got Mars in their 12th house, just by the sheer fact that it is a malefic, they could have issues falling asleep. Or they could be also the people who move around in bed as well. They're just quite restless. They put a lot of energy into their sexual life. 2, and that all of those things can create for them a situation where they're not sleeping so well. So let's have a look at how things are going to be with this sign. Remember also that Mars from here will be aspecting the 6th house too. So it hasn't got like the 7th kind of aspect from Mars. It's not as strong as the 4th and the 8th, but nonetheless there is aspect in the 6th house. So they could be like working in a this could definitely, if it's to do, obviously if it's 6th house and 12th house, they could be working in like a hospital, prison service, that kind of like establishments that are far away, hidden places like hospitals, mortuaries, things like that. And also then from there we'll be aspecting also the 7th house, and also aspecting what will be from there, 4 houses from there, which will be the 3rd house as well. So you can see that Mars has got those kind of things going on. And remember, because anything that actually gets your imagination going can make the person quite imaginative. Therefore, they can be quite creative. You know, this is actually a creative house, and because it corresponds to Pisces, when you take yourself away from everything and just like rest to rejuvenate your soul, you can actually get quite a lot of good messages arriving too. So let's have a look on for the ascendants. I thought I'd just very quickly add that people who've got 12th house planets, generally speaking, is they have this amount of guilt that holds them back, so they can actually overthink things and hold on to things a little bit. Probably not as bad, you know. Obviously, it's 8th house, you know, that kind of thing to do with Scorpio a little bit as well. But if you have this and you have a planet there and you always got this guilt things going on, let it go, and that will just really empower you. And you know, we're going to the Great Awakening now. There's no point holding on to anything. Let it go, and then that will just release a lot of fresh energy for you, which we need that for stepping into 1,000 years of peace. So all the best, guys. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to look at the ascendants with this placement. Remember also, this is one of the placements that in Vedic astrology they say this is a bit difficult for what you call like marriage and everything, because this house of, obviously, house of kind of intimacy, and it could be that the person can be quite controlling. Either either we are, or you know, the partner. So we need to work on that in order to have really healthy relationships. Anyway, we can work on that. Astrology, people who know astrology, they're too wise and good beings. So first, for Aries ascendant, Mars being in the 12th house is the 1st and 8th house ruler in the 12th house. So you've got to realise that you've got to be careful about all sorts of things to do with accidents and surgery and generally losses. So you want to be careful lending money to anyone or overstretching yourself in a sense in any way or form. And also, you know, 8th house is 8th house will be like your in-laws as well. So, you know, you want to just be aware to just be careful not to reveal everything to them, really, in a sense. From the 12th house, obviously, is aspecting your 6th house. It's pretty good for work, you know, it gives you that energy for work, and these people can work really, they could be really good surgeons, actually. 8th house and 12th house and 6th house. And from there, it's also aspecting the 3rd house, so they will have very direct way of communicating, very you know, that kind of thing. So you've got to be careful not to be over passionate, you know, too much zealous put into the wording and impulsiveness. And also aspects the 7th house as well. So again, so it's all the family houses, you know, 12th, 4th and 7th houses. So you need to be cautious about like how you approach, you know, because Mars is just keen to get the job done and keen to show interest in the person they like, keen to get the job, you know, any competitiveness as well in them, so that can cause them losses, generally speaking. So for Taurus Ascendant, this will be Mars is 7th and 12th house ruler in the 12th house, so Mars will be in own house. And so it could mean that the partner can be foreign, and this obviously makes Mars quite strong as well. So this obviously, they're quite passionate in the bedroom, that kind of thing. And could also mean that their work is to do with dealing with foreign people, import, export, could be working in ashrams. This person could also be quite good at doing things, because Mars is quite good dignity here. And this will be also Mars that can be very good at yoga and meditation. They have a lot of focus on self-improvement. Just the nature of Aries is like that. For Gemini Ascendant, Mars in the 12th house will be Mars in Taurus for them. Mars will be the ruler of 6th and 11th house. So it could just be that friends and there are losses to do with friends. So as I said, don't lend people money, friends, because you lose a friend and your money. This is very much that situation. So there's a lot of competition. They could be very much involved in situations that they are like with friends, doing competitive sports and things like that. And yeah, but you got to be careful, because you could have secret enemies too, because 6th house is enemies, 12th house can be secret enemies too. So that group of friends can bring that on for you. Just being aware. So for Cancer Ascendant, Mars is obviously your Yogacaraka planet ruling 5th and 10th house. In the 12th house could be that your work is all to do with either secret things behind the scenes, or secret communications, because it's the natural, Gemini is the natural house of communication. It could also be that you literally are in export-import, you work in a prison, or work in behind the scenes. Like there could be like people or filmmakers, because 5th house is very much to do with the arts, and rather than being in front of the camera, you're behind the scene. Like you could be like the screenwriter, director, producer of the film, rather than being the actor or actress in that situation. For Leo Ascendant, this would be 4th and 9th house ruler. In the 12th house will be in the Mars debilitated in the 12th house. So this could give a little bit of problems first, because they're just like, I think sometimes also 12th house, we feel a little bit, any planet in that has got a feeling like being in Pisces. So it's a little bit like dreamy, but very creative. And this could be a Mars that's in a water sign, particularly in a sign that is debilitated. It could just be that emotions get the better of them, to just be able to be expressive and get the kind of loss of direction leads to energy loss or wasting energy. That could be the theme. And once you become like mid-20s, something like that, you start kind of directing your energy a bit more logically, using Mars to a better stand. But the beginning of the life can be a little bit like you feel as though you're kind of walking on quicksand. As soon as you think you're making you're going for something, and then some sort of obstacle, hidden thing happens, but highly imaginative one. And it could just be also that there's like a family issue as well, so you don't feel so close to mum and dad. And mid-time you realise it's because you haven't really been expressing your emotions to them, connecting with them on a deeper level. And once you kind of start working with that energy, because after all, our parents, we choose them, you realise that they are there to actually support you through the new things that are going on, So, and for Virgo Ascendant, obviously 12th house will be Leo. So this will be Mars ruling 3rd and 8th house in the 12th house. This is quite nice placement for Mars, good house, because it's quite dignified in Leo. And this could definitely be somebody who is quite creative, writes behind the scenes, could be writing all these like occultish kind of books, or like mystic things, psychology books, psychotherapy, healing books, books all about like the how you heal yourself, you know, all this kind of Louise Hay kind of stuff. Will be very much putting their energy into that. And actually in real life they will probably do that. They probably listen to audio books of self-help and self-improvement, you know, coaching themselves to fall asleep. For Libra Ascendant, 12th house is Virgo. So this will be Mars in Virgo. Mars rules 2nd and 7th house ruler. So it could be that they meet their partner when they're abroad, or when they're at an ashram, or maybe they meet them when they're in hospital, recouping from something. Because Virgo is also all to do with medicine, that kind of thing too. So, and this person just loves spending money on things to do with healing and improving their health and well-being, that kind of stuff. Then we have Scorpio Ascendant. For them, Mars rules 1st and 6th house. In the 12th house will be Mars in Libra, and will be aspect in the 6th house own sign, so it strengthens that too. So this sometimes being competitive can create losses for them. You know, and they need to just obviously be careful with their own vitality and everything, because they can do things impulsively, be quite competitive, and that creates physical injury as well as you know, like hurt their rejuvenation as such. And whenever they recoup and just rest and go within, they really kind of or even if they do charity work, do like service jobs, that really does them good. That's another energy that can be very much to do with that. And for Sagittarius Ascendant, 5th and 12th house ruler Mars in the 12th house. Mars is in own sign, which is Scorpio. So this could be that the person could be quite creative, imaginative, particularly when they get away from everything, go traveling, or work in isolation in a sense. They could also be like when the children go, they have this like empty nest syndrome, or they could also have had some issues having children at some point, and then but doesn't necessarily deny, but it just means that, you know, or they could actually go into labor when they're abroad, something like that. But generally speaking, that it could be that there could be some difficulties having children. But you've got to look at Jupiter, and you've really got to look at 5th house and see what's going on, and any conjunctions, and also D7, any aspects of conjunctions with that as well. But generally speaking, very imaginative. They got hidden talents that once they get away from you know, the big world, being out there, more isolation, brings on that hidden gem that they're holding within. For Capricorn Ascendant, Mars will be in the 12th house if it's and it rules with them 4th and 11th house ruler in the 12th house. So they gain and they lose. So they could actually have a maternal home given to them, but they could actually lose it through overspending. They as soon as they gain, they could also you know, so you've got to be careful with that. But you can also gain maybe a foreign property, a property abroad, or an unusual property from family, and again, you know, you don't want to lend any money to your friends or anything like that, because obviously that you can lose a friend or the and the money, that kind of thing. And for Aquarius Ascendant, 3rd and 10th house ruler in the 12th house. So this will be Mars exalted in 12th house. So this will be a Mars that can work really well. Probably a governmental, foreign, you know, could be an ambassador, or somebody who just does a lot of traveling with work, and very inspirational speech. They probably get all their, particularly in Shravana, they probably get kind of a lot of kind of messages come through when they're sleeping. But yeah, this is obviously Mars, strong Mars, and from there also aspects the 4th house. The 4th house is from there, which is the 3rd house. So they will be very very passionate speakers, they can move people, you know, really motivational. For Pisces Ascendant, this will be Mars' second and ninth house ruler, so dad and family in the 12th house. So it could be that they didn't know their dad growing up, or their dad was not available to them, or the family not that close to the family growing up. And it could just be that dad was always away working. And obviously through family or dad, they've had expenses, 12th house's expenses. And so also these people really love spending money on their family, or, you know, travel, because ninth house is travel. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon. Thank you.